Well, as construction continues on the Transit Transfer Center in downtown Eau Claire, the expected end date of part of the project has been delayed. WEAU's Maria Blau takes a look at when riders may get to use the new facility.
Alex, last September, construction started on Eau Claire Transit's Transfer Center in downtown. The project plan included a space for riders to wait for buses, parking, and 3 levels of affordable housing. To make this plan a reality, the city says it's going to take more time. As construction continues on a new Transit Transfer Center in downtown Eau Claire, the timeline for when the project could be done has changed. While work on the transfer center itself is still expected to be complete by the end of this year, the city is still working to sign a deal with a developer for the housing on top of the center.
It's been a challenging project going through this process. COVID and construction delays, logistics delays, increases in material costs across the board have made it very challenging to take on what was a challenging project to begin with.
Even without those obstacles, Aaron White with the City of Eau Claire says building on top of the center has its own added costs.
In this project, that 3 stories is sitting on top of 40 feet of concrete. And so it has some of the infrastructure requirements, elevator shaft for a 5-story building when it's only 3 stories of residential, because you're moving through the transit space and 2 stories of parking space.
White says those added layers also impact the cost for stairwells and utility lines. With the original developer backing out of the deal, the city says it's been working with a second company on an agreement for the project. Part of the work on the housing needs to be complete before Eau Claire Transit buses can start using the facility.
When they're constructing the facility above, they have to have the streets closed off because they have to be able to have a place to mobilize their equipment and so forth, and there's going to be a crane that needs to be still there, and so the streets are going to have to remain closed. If the streets are closed, we're not going to be able to get in and out of the transfer center.
Once work does begin on the housing portion of the project, Wagoner says it'll take about 8 months to complete what's necessary to reopen the streets for the buses to use the center. The transfer center was originally set to begin service in September of 2023. That opening date has been moved to June of 2024. The city says it is close to finalizing a deal with a developer for the housing project.